Khalid Ibn Al Walid was a skilled military leader in the 7th century. At first, he fought against the Muslim prophet Muhammad on behalf of the Quraysh, a powerful Arab clan. However, he later converted to Islam and served Muhammad, as well as the first two Rashidun caliphs, Abu Bakr and Umar. Join us as we unfold the events of his as we journey through the time capsule. Ancestry and early life. Khalid's father, Al Walid Ibn Al Mughira, was a respected mediator in Mecca, a city in western Arabia. He belonged to the influential Banu Makhzum clan, which was part of the Quraysh tribe and Mecca's elite class before Islam. The Makhzum were known for their intelligence, nobility and wealth. They were credited with expanding Meccan trade to foreign lands like Yemen and Abyssinia. Khalid's grandfather, Al-Mughira ibn Abdullah, played a key role in the Makhzum's prominence. Khalid's uncle, Hisham, was highly respected, and his death marked the beginning of the Quraysh calendar. Khalid himself was considered important within his clan and Mecca. Khalid's mother, Al-Azma bint Al-Harith ibn Hazn, also known as Lubaba al-Sugra, came from the nomadic Banu Hilal tribe. She converted to Islam around 622, and her half-sister Maimuna became one of Muhammad's wives. Through his mother's family, Khalid gained a deep understanding of the Bedouin way of life, as the Bedouins were nomadic Arab people. In simpler terms, Khalid's family background was prestigious, with his father being a respected figure in Mecca and his mother having connections to the nomadic Bedouin lifestyle. This upbringing gave Khalid a unique perspective on different aspects of Arabian society. Opposition to Muhammad. The Makhzum clan strongly opposed Muhammad, and one of their prominent leaders, Amr ibn Hisham, also known as Abu Jahl, was Khalid's first cousin. Abu Jahl organized a boycott of Muhammad's clan, the Banu Hashim of Quraysh, around 616 to 618. After Muhammad left Mecca for Medina in 622, the Makhzum, under the leadership of Abu Jahl, waged war against him. However, their forces were defeated at the Battle of Badr in 624. In this battle, around 25 of Khalid's paternal cousins, including Abu Jahl and many other relatives, were killed. The following year, Khalid played a crucial role in the Battle of Uhud, where the Meccan army faced Muhammad's forces north of Medina. Instead of launching a direct attack on the Muslim positions on Mount Uhud, Khalid used a clever tactic. He led his troops around the mountain, bypassing the Muslim flank. Khalid advanced through the Wadi Qanat valley west of Uhud, but was stopped by Muslim archers at Mount Rumah, south of the valley. At first, the Muslims had the upper hand in the battle, but things took a turn when most of the Muslim archers left their positions to seize the Meccan camp. Khalid saw this opening and charged into the weakened Muslim rear lines. This resulted in a Muslim retreat, and many were killed. Khalid's tactics and leadership were credited with the Quraysh's victory at Uhud, which was their only triumph against Muhammad. In 628, Muhammad and his followers set out for Mecca to perform the lesser pilgrimage, known as the Umrah. When the Quraysh learned of Muhammad's departure, they sent 200 cavalry to intercept him, with Khalid leading the cavalry. However, Muhammad decided to take an unconventional and challenging route, eventually reaching Hudaybiyah at the outskirts of Mecca. Realizing Muhammad's change in course, Khalid withdrew to Mecca. A truce was eventually reached between the Muslims and the Quraysh in the Treaty of Hudaybiyah in March. Conversion to Islam and service under Muhammad. In the year 627 or possibly 629, Khalid embraced Islam in the presence of Muhammad, alongside another Qurayshite named Amr ibn al-As. Some historians believe that the accounts suggesting Khalid and Amr converted in 629 are more reliable. It suggested that Khalid and Amr became Muslims and moved to Medina after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, once the Quraysh dropped their demands to return new Muslim converts to Mecca. Following his conversion, Khalid began using his considerable military skills to support the emerging Muslim state. Khalid took part in an expedition to Mu'tah in modern-day Jordan, which Muhammad ordered in September 629. The purpose of this mission may have been to seize booty following the retreat of the Sasanian Persian army from Syria after its defeat by the Byzantine Empire. However, the Muslim detachment faced a strong Byzantine force led by Theodore, consisting mostly of Arab tribesmen. In the battle, several high-ranking Muslim commanders were killed, and Khalid assumed command. He managed a challenging withdrawal of the Muslim forces, earning him the honorary title Saif Allah, or the Sword of God, from Muhammad. In December 629, or January 630, Khalid participated in the capture of Mecca by Muhammad. This event led to the conversion of most Quraysh members to Islam. Khalid led a nomadic group known as Muhajirat al-Arab, or the Bedouin emigrants, during this engagement. He played a key role in the fighting, and 3 of his men were killed while 12 Qurayshites lost their lives. Khalid was later appointed to destroy the idol of Al-Uzza, a pre-Islamic Arabian goddess, in the Nakhla area between Mecca and Taif. He also led the Bedouin Banu Sulaim in the Muslim vanguard at the Battle of Hunain. In this battle, the Muslim forces, bolstered by the conversion of Quraysh members, defeated their rivals from Taif, the Thaqif, and their nomadic Hawazin allies. Afterward, Khalid was sent to invite the Banu Jadima to Islam, but some sources claim that he attacked the tribe unjustly. Different versions of the story exist, with some suggesting that Khalid misunderstood the tribe's acceptance of Islam, and due to this confusion, attacked them. Muhammad distanced himself from Khalid's actions but did not punish him. In 630, while Muhammad was at Tabuk, he sent Khalid to capture the oasis market town of Dumat al-Jandal. Khalid secured the town's surrender and imposed a heavy penalty on its inhabitants. He also had one of the town's chiefs, Uqaydir ibn Abd al-Malik al-Sakuni, sign a capitulation treaty with Muhammad in Medina. In June 631, Khalid was dispatched by Muhammad to invite the mixed Christian and polytheistic Balharith tribe of Najran to embrace Islam. The tribe converted, and Khalid provided them with instruction in the Quran and Islamic laws before returning to Muhammad in Medina with a delegation from the Balharith tribe. Commander in the Ridda Wars. After the passing of Muhammad in June 632, there was a dispute among Muslims regarding who should lead them. Abu Bakr, one of Muhammad's close companions, became the caliph, the leader of the Muslim community. However, this decision was not without contention. The Ansar, the people of Medina who had welcomed Muhammad when he arrived from Mecca, wanted to choose their own leader. Meanwhile, the Muhajirun, those who had emigrated from Mecca with Muhammad, were divided. Some supported Muhammad's cousin Ali, while others, backed by new converts from the Qurayshite aristocracy, stood with Abu Bakr. With influential figures like Umar ibn al-Khattab and Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah among the Muhajirun, Abu Bakr's succession was established despite opposition. Khalid firmly supported Abu Bakr's leadership. He was known to favor Abu Bakr over Ali and expressed his trust in Abu Bakr's abilities. After Muhammad's death, many tribes in Arabia, except those around Mecca, Medina, and Taif, either stopped supporting the Muslim state or never had formal ties with Medina. Abu Bakr initiated the Ridda Wars, described in Islamic history as battles against apostates. Modern historians interpret these wars differently. Some see them as opposition against Islam, while others view them as resistance against financial obligations to Medina rather than the religion itself. In these wars, 2 significant conflicts emerged in Najd, the Central Arabian Plateau. The Asad, Ta'i, and Ghatafan tribes rebelled under Tulayha, and the Tamim tribe, led by Sajah, also claimed prophethood. After Abu Bakr managed to handle the threat from the Ghatafan at the Battle of Du al-Qasa, he sent Khalid to deal with the rebel tribes in Najd. Khalid was the third choice for this campaign, as his predecessors had declined the task. Khalid led his forces, made up of the Muhajirun and the Ansar, with considerable independence. He didn't strictly adhere to the caliph's instructions, but instead focused on defeating the opposing tribes. His approach was straightforward. He defeated anyone who opposed the Muslims, displaying his military prowess and strategic brilliance. Battle of Buzaka. Khalid's main goal was to deal with Tulayha's followers. In late 632, he faced Tulayha's forces at the Battle of Buzaka, which happened near a well named after the place itself in Asad territory, where the tribes were camped. Before Khalid's troops even arrived, the Tai tribe switched sides and joined the Muslims. This shift happened because of mediation led by the Tai chief Adi ibn Hatim, who was appointed by Medina as a tax collector over his tribe and their traditional rivals, the Asad. In the battle, Khalid defeated the combined forces of Asad and Ghatafan. When Tulayha seemed close to losing, the Fazara section of the Ghatafan, led by their chief Uyayna ibn Hisn, abandoned the battlefield. This forced Tulayha to flee to Syria. Following this victory, the Asad tribe surrendered to Khalid. The Banu Amir, who had stayed neutral until they saw the outcome of the battle, also pledged allegiance to the Muslims. Uyayna was captured and taken to Medina. With the triumph at Buzakha, the Muslims gained control over most of Najd. Execution of Malik ibn Nuwayra. Following the victory at Buzakha, Khalid moved against Malik ibn Nuwayra, a rebel leader from the Tamim tribe, based in Al-Butar, in today's Qasim region. Malik had been appointed by Muhammad to collect arms tax from his clan, the Yarbu. However, after Muhammad's death, he stopped sending the tax to Medina, prompting Abu Bakr to order his execution by Khalid. During this campaign, Khalid faced challenges within his own army. The Ansar initially hesitated to join, citing instructions from Abu Bakr not to proceed until receiving a direct order. Khalid argued that as the appointed commander, it was his prerogative. Eventually, the Ansar decided to participate after internal discussions, rejoining Khalid's forces. In the encounter, Khalid's army met Malik and 11 of his clansmen. The Yarbu didn't resist, declared their faith in Islam, and were brought to Khalid's camp. Despite one Ansarite's objection, who argued for their immunity as Muslims, Khalid executed them all. After this, he married Malik's widow, Tamim bint al-Minhal. When news of Khalid's actions reached Medina, Umar, Abu Bakr's chief aide, pushed for Khalid's punishment or removal. However, Abu Bakr chose to pardon Khalid. According to some accounts, Malik had been cooperating with a false prophetess named Saja, also from the Yarbu. However, after being defeated by rival clans from the Tamim, Malik retreated to his camp at Al-Butar, where he was encountered and subsequently executed by Khalid's forces. There are conflicting historical accounts, making it challenging to discern the truth behind Malik's actions and his fate. Elimination of Musaylima and conquest of the Yamama. After suffering setbacks in her conflict with rival Tamim factions, Saja joined Musaylima, the leader of the Banu Hanifa tribe in the Yamama, an area rich in wheat fields and date palms, connecting Medina to Bahrain and Oman in eastern Arabia. Musaylima had claimed prophethood before Muhammad's time, and after Muhammad's death, his support surged in the Yamama. To counter this threat, Abu Bakr sent Shurabil ibn Hassana and Khalid's cousin Ikrimah to support the Muslim governor in the Yamama, Thumama ibn Uthal, Musaylima's tribal kinsman. Khalid, after his victories against the Bedouin of Najd, headed to the Yamama with warnings of Hanifa's military strength and strict instructions from Abu Bakr to deal severely with them if victorious. The initial encounters were challenging, with Musaylima's warriors proving formidable. After some failed attempts, Khalid, with counsel from Thabit ibn Qais, excluded the Bedouins from his ranks for the next fight. In the fourth assault, Muslims managed to defeat Musaylima. They pursued the Hanifa to an enclosed garden where a fierce battle took place, resulting in heavy casualties on both sides. After Musaylima's death, Khalid, with a Hanifite captive, assessed the remaining Hanifa in their fortresses. The Hanifa, desperate to improve their position, used a ruse involving women and children dressing as men to negotiate better terms. Khalid, facing exhaustion and pressure, agreed to a ceasefire. The terms included the Hanifa converting to Islam, surrendering arms, gold, and silver. Despite Abu Bakr's opposition, he ratified the treaty, which was further solidified by Khalid's marriage to Mujar's daughter, the Hanifite captive. To further secure peace, Khalid was allotted land in the villages included in the treaty, while punitive measures were taken against villages like Musaylima's hometown, Al-Hadar, and Mar'at, where inhabitants were expelled or enslaved, and new tribesmen from the Tamim clans were settled there. Campaigns in Iraq. With the Yamama pacified, Khalid set his sights on Sasanian territory in Iraq, reorganizing his army for the campaign. By the time he reached the southern Iraqi frontier in 633, his force had dwindled to about 1,000 warriors. His main target was the western banks of the Euphrates River, where nomadic Arabs lived. Khalid's campaign in Iraq started with clashes at places like Dat al-Salasil, Nahar al-Mara, Madhar, Ulais, and Walaja along the Euphrates. The capture of Al-Hira, an important city in the region, marked a significant victory. With help from local tribes like the Shayban, Khalid took control of the city. Al-Hira's Arab nobles surrendered, agreeing to pay tribute to Medina. This marked the caliphate's first income from Iraq. During his campaign, Khalid received support from tribal leaders like Al-Muthanna ibn Haritha and the Sadus clan. After securing Al-Hira, Khalid moved northward, capturing places like Anbar, Ain al-Tamar, and Sandauda. By this point, Khalid had subdued various Arab tribes in the region, both nomadic and settled, extending the influence of the Muslim state in Iraq. Conquest of Syria. In the early days of the year 633, the first Muslim armies were sent to Syria from Medina. The commanders included notable figures like Amr ibn al-As, Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan, Shurabil ibn Hassana, and possibly Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah. By the time Khalid arrived in Syria, these armies had already engaged in several clashes with Byzantine forces in the southern Syrian countryside, although they hadn't yet captured any major cities. Khalid was appointed as the supreme commander of the Muslim armies in Syria, a position he earned due to his military expertise and past achievements. He reached Marj Rahit, a meadow north of Damascus, on Easter Day of the year 634. There he launched attacks on Ghassanids, who were celebrating Easter, and later raided the agricultural areas around Damascus. After these initial victories, Khalid and other Muslim commanders gathered at Bosra, a trading center southeast of Damascus. The city surrendered to the Muslims in late May 634, marking the first major conquest in Syria. Khalid then moved west to Palestine, where he joined Amr's forces. Together they confronted the Byzantines in the Battle of Ajnadayn in July. The Muslims emerged victorious, forcing the Byzantines to retreat towards Pella. The pursuit continued, leading to another significant triumph at the Battle of Fal. Although it remains unclear who had overall command in this battle, it was a decisive victory for the Muslims. Siege of Damascus. After their victories at Ajnadayn and Fal, the remaining Byzantine forces retreated to Damascus, seeking reinforcements. Khalid's army advanced, likely defeating a Byzantine unit at Marj al-Sufa plain before laying siege to the city. The siege strategy involved each of the 5 Muslim commanders blocking one of the city gates, with Khalid stationed at the east gate. A 6th contingent positioned at Barzeh, north of Damascus, successfully repelled relief troops sent by the Byzantine Emperor Heraclius. Several accounts tell the story of how Damascus fell to the Muslims. In one version, Khalid and his men breached the Bab Sharki gate, scaling the eastern walls and overpowering the guards. Simultaneously, Muslim forces led by Abu Ubaidah entered peacefully from the western Bab al-Jabiya gate after negotiations with prominent Damascene figures. They all converged in the city center, where terms of surrender were agreed upon. According to some sources, The Damascenes, weary of the siege and recognizing the determination of the besiegers, approached Khalid at Bab Sharki. They offered to open the gate in exchange for safety assurances. Khalid accepted and initiated a capitulation agreement. The terms generally safeguarded the lives, properties, and churches of the inhabitants in return for the payment of poll tax. Imperial properties were confiscated by the Muslims. This agreement likely served as a template for similar treaties made throughout Syria, Iraq, and Egypt during the early Muslim conquests. Though historical accounts vary, Damascus eventually surrendered in August or September 635, after a siege lasting from 4 to 14 months, marking a significant victory for the Muslim forces. Battle of Yarmouk. In the spring of 636, Khalid withdrew his forces from Damascus to the old Ghassanid capital at Jabaya in the Golan Heights. His decision was influenced by the approach of a large Byzantine army dispatched by Emperor Heraclius. This Byzantine force, led by commanders Vahan and Theodore Tritherius, included Christian Arab light cavalry under the Ghassanid leader Jabala Ibn al-Ayham and Armenian auxiliaries under a commander named Georgius. The exact sizes of these armies are debated among historians. Some argue that the Byzantines outnumbered the Muslims significantly, while others suggest a more balanced numerical situation. The Byzantine army camped near the Rukkad tributary west of Jabaya, prompting Khalid to withdraw and take a strategic position north of the Yarmouk River. The Muslim defensive line stretched across high hilltops, crucial routes connecting Damascus to the Galilee and historic pastures. For over a month, the Muslims held this advantageous position, withstanding several skirmishes, including a successful one outside Jabaya on July 23, 636. During these confrontations, the Byzantines' Christian Arab and Armenian auxiliaries deserted or defected, weakening the Byzantine force. In preparation for the battle, Khalid split his cavalry into two groups, positioning them behind the Muslim infantry wings to prevent potential envelopment by the Byzantine heavy cavalry. Additionally, elite horsemen were stationed to support the center of the Muslim defensive line, and archers remained in the Muslims' camp near Dire Ayyub. When the Byzantines initiated assaults against the Muslim flanks, the Muslims initially resisted. However, they eventually feigned a retreat, luring the Byzantines into their camp. Here, the Muslims had hobbled their camel herds to form defensive barriers, hindering the Byzantine cavalry. Muslim archers took advantage of this situation, disrupting the Byzantines' momentum and leaving their left flank exposed. Khalid seized this opportunity and pierced the Byzantines' left flank, intentionally leaving an opening for their escape northward, away from their infantry. The Byzantine infantry, led by Vahan, eventually mutinied, possibly due to Theodore's inability to counter the Muslim attack. The result was a chaotic retreat, and many Byzantine soldiers perished in the Yarmouk's ravines during their escape attempt. The Byzantine cavalry, having withdrawn north, was pursued by the Muslims. Khalid executed a nighttime operation, capturing the Rukkad bridge, the only viable withdrawal route for the Byzantines. Subsequently, the Muslims assaulted the Byzantine camps, leading to a significant loss of Byzantine troops. The victory at the Battle of Yarmouk, attributed to the cohesion and strategic brilliance of the Muslim army, marked the destruction of the last effective Byzantine force in Syria. This triumph secured earlier Muslim gains in Palestine and Transjordan and paved the way for the recapture of Damascus later that year, followed by the conquest of the Bekaa Valley and the rest of Syria. In historical assessments, the Battle of Yarmouk stands as one of the pivotal moments that expanded the Islamic Caliphate's territory. Dismissal and death. In the year 638, rumors spread about Khalid's lavish distribution of war spoils from his northern Syrian campaigns, including a significant sum given to the Kindite nobleman Al-Ash'ath ibn Qais. Umar, the caliph, upon hearing these rumors, ordered Abu Ubaidah to interrogate Khalid publicly and relieve him from his post, regardless of the outcome of the investigation. Additionally, Umar placed the city of Qinasrin under Abu Ubaida's direct administration. Following the interrogation in Homs, Khalid bid farewell to his troops in Qinasrin and Homs before being summoned to Medina by Umar. Umar's decision to remove Khalid from his position was communicated to the Muslim garrisons in Syria and Iraq. Umar stated that Khalid was dismissed not due to any wrongdoing, but because he feared the troops had become too enamored with Khalid, putting their trust in him rather than in God. Surprisingly, Khalid's dismissal did not cause public outcry. This lack of reaction might have been due to the existing knowledge in the Muslim community about Umar's rivalry with Khalid. Another possible reason was the lingering hostility towards Khalid's Makhzum clan, stemming from their earlier opposition to Muhammad and the early Muslims. In one account, during a council of the Muslim army at Jabiyah in 638, Umar explained that Khalid was dismissed because he had distributed war spoils among war heroes, tribal nobles, and poets, instead of reserving the funds for needy Muslims. Few commanders present at the meeting opposed Umar's decision, except for a Makhzumite, who accused Umar of disregarding the military mandate given to Khalid by Muhammad. Before his death in 639, Abu Ubaidah reportedly appointed Khalid and Ayad ibn Ghanm as his successors. However, Umar confirmed only Ayad as the governor of the Homs Qinasrin Jazira district. He appointed Yazid ibn Abi Sufyan as the governor of the rest of Syria, covering the districts of Damascus, Jordan, and Palestine. Khalid passed away in Medina in the year 642. Legacy Khalid, according to early accounts, stands out as one of the most effective commanders of the early Islamic conquests, even after his dismissal from the supreme command. Historians like Donner regard him as a tactical genius of the early Islamic period. Karel Hillenbrand, a prominent historian, refers to him as the most famous Arab Muslim general. Humphreys also acknowledges him as perhaps the most renowned and brilliant Arab general of the Ridda Wars and the early conquests. In Kennedy's view, Khalid was undeniably a brilliant and ruthless military leader. However, his legacy is complex due to various factors. Early Islamic sources paint a mixed picture of Khalid because of his early clash with Muhammad at Uhud, his reputation for harsh actions against Arab tribes during the Ridda Wars, and the discomfort some devout early converts felt about his military fame. Despite attempts in early sources to tarnish his image, Khalid's reputation has endured as Islam's most formidable warrior during the times of Muhammad, Abu Bakr, and the conquest of Syria. Streets all over the Arab world are named after him, underscoring his enduring legacy. Sunni Muslims view him as a war hero, while many Shia Muslims consider him a war criminal, especially for his execution of Malik ibn Nuwayra and his immediate marriage to Malik's widow, which went against the traditional Islamic bereavement period. Thanks for watching the video, and if you found it informative, please like and subscribe to Time Capsule for similar content. We look forward to sharing more knowledge with you in the future. Until then, take care.